think it's time to stop. Right, how are we all? It's been a lovely week. I've been at work for most of it. I'm going to try and adjust my lovely little camera just there. There we go, that looks a bit better. This makes my day a life from my little bro. It makes me so happy for you to be here as well, Corinne. Thank you so much for popping in. I really do appreciate it. And I know how busy you are at the moment, so I'm so glad that you're here. Right, well, first things first. As you can see, my Craftstash order. Now, I was very naughty. Very naughty indeed. So I'm just going to take you through the few bits that I did make on... Rewind. I'm just going to take you through the few items that I did buy from my order. And then we're going to make something, which is going to be great. I've not decided exactly what yet, but we'll get to that. But I'll show you the products that we've got first. So, I bought the Paper Craft Society box, made to surprise by Sam Callett. I had to get it because I love all of her stuff. Oh, let me just quickly adjust that as well. That's a little bit off today by the looks of it. Just wait for it to catch up. Oh gosh, that's even worse, isn't it? Oh my golly gosh, what have I done? Right, let's just focus that back down there and twist that to there. That's better. I like that better. That's much better. This is what happens, you see. Hi Vicky, thank you for coming in. Oh, is Aaron in here as well? Well, he normally is. He likes to find out what I've been buying for myself when he's not looking. Right, so the Sam Callett. In here, we have got this lovely set of dies which make a nice big coffee type mug thing. And it's also got nice little labels and some nice bits. That's a waffle. I can't believe that's actually a waffle. Can you guys believe that? That's a little waffle. So we've got that. That's the dies. We've got a nice little embossing folder here as well, which makes that lovely check or gingham? Not gingham, no. Not gingham, it's another word. Tartan, I'd say that is. Tartan embossing folder. We've got some lovely coordinating cardstock and glitter card, which has come with this as well. I haven't actually had a proper look at these yet. I just took them out of the box, so... Oh, look at that. Oh, that's scrummy. And I think that's non-shed as well. It feels like it's non-shed. Oh, and then we've got these lovely gingham papers as well. Not gingham, tartan papers. I said it wrong. Ooh, that's quite nice. I like that as a nice coffee cut background paper as well. Those all look stunning. So those look like they're going to be quite nice. Let's have a quick look through this coordinating cardstock as well. I would like to get into it without ruining the cardstock, please, sir. I am, but you're lucky I'm off to sleep soon. I'm sure you'll see everything. Hi, Crafty Jacks. Thank you for popping in. Oh, golly gosh, this isn't going to come out easily. You know what? I'm just going to have to rip it, aren't I? I'm just going to have to rip it and be done with it. Ooh, those are some... So we've got some nice coordinating colour cardstocks there. That's red, orange and a nice light greeny blue. Those go really well with those papers. It's like they planned it. Right, I'll pop those back in there. And then we have this lovely stamp set. I love cake. If you know me, you know I love cake. I love the cake. And those are some nice little... Oh, what are they? Macaroons! I love macaroons. Pretzel, a big old donut. You've got a nice actual little cookie there and a little flake. Oh, I love flakes. I do love flakes. So that is for that part of my Craftstash order. And this is the part that I didn't want Aaron to see, but Aaron's going to see anyway, so never mind, eh? Let's just pop those bits away back in there quickly, whilst I get myself into all sorts of trouble. Right, there we go. Pop that to the side. And we've got this made to surprise card mechanism for a pop-up card, which lets you put little things on little stands and they wiggle about, which is quite nice. We've got the whole die set in there for that. And this is the part where I get into trouble. So I bought the magic roundabout stamps, I don't know if you guys may have heard of the Magic Roundabout or not, but it was a TV show for children way back in the day. So I've got obviously the roundabout and some nice little background bits there and the clock, and then we have the main characters. We've got Dougal, Zebedee. I can't remember if her name was Mirabelle the cow. We've also got the bunny. I can't remember most of their names now. I haven't watched it in so many years. But we've got all of the main characters just there from that. And now it's coming on to my favourite one. This is my favourite. This is from Sooty, which was a TV show that I grew up watching when I was a kid. It was the best show ever. I used to run home from school to watch this. I mean, it's just fantastic. And we've got Sooty, obviously the main character. He's a little bear. We've got Sue. She's a panda. And we've got the little dog, Sweep, as well. And we've got the best part of this is we've got Sooty whilst he's wearing his magic hat and he's holding his little wand. It's so cool. It's so cool. I love it. I absolutely love it. And then we have the sentiment pack that goes along with this. And when Sooty used to cast his spells using his wand, he would always say, "Izzy, Wizzy, let's get busy," which is just amazing. Absolutely amazing. So cool. I love that as a sentiment as well. And then you've got some other nice little bits as well, like the magic hat, the guitar that you can make Sweep hold, and a little bow for Sue, and the little squirty water gun that they had. Oh wow, and I love the sentiments as well. Have a super birthday, sending fuzzy yellow bear hugs. And at the end of every show they would also say, "Bye bye everybody, bye bye." How cool is that? That is just so amazing. Before I move on to making something, obviously I've been opening, I've got 2 of them at the moment. I have been opening every day my advent calendar. So this was last year's advent calendar. I wasn't part of Crafters Companion last year, so this is new for me. So I've been opening this one every day. And I've also been opening this year's advent calendar every day. Now, I was just going to ask you guys, would you like to see some of the bits that I've got in it? If you don't want to, I won't. But if you would like to, just say, and I will certainly show you guys what I've got going on with that. I'll just have a quick swig of my drink. If not, maybe we'll just move on to making something. Now, I'm pretty torn on whether I want to make a card using this. If I want to make a card using this. Oh, you would like to see what I've been getting in my advent calendars. That's not a problem. Christine, if you're watching, look away now, me darlings. So, yesterday's advent calendar for this year, I got these lovely little charms. So you can see I've got a pumpkin and a sun there, a little flower and a snowflake. I believe those are to represent each of the seasons. So those are quite nice. We've got those just there. I'll put those back onto the side. For today, I got from last year's calendar, I got this lovely little, I believe it's mistletoe embossing folder, which is quite nice. A couple of days ago from this year's calendar, I got this lovely little snowflake stencil. I also have this lovely little, this came from this year's advent calendar as well. I can't remember which day for the life of me. But this is another little embossing folder. That's a 2D one again. And I had to put all of these away because I couldn't just have them lying about. So from this year's and last year's, this is a mixture of the 2. I've got these lovely little stamps, a little flower, some hearts, a flower, and I believe those those ones were together. And then we've got this like little hat and mittens and scarf set, and another little coffee and cookie drink stamp. And these come with some dies that match most of them. And I also have that snowflake die, which was from last year's advent calendar. And for today from this year's advent calendar, I got this lovely 3D glitter glue. So that is everything for today, up till today from the advent calendar, because obviously I've not opened anything else yet. What I'm wanting to do, I think I am just going to I'm getting so excited. So excited. I'm just thinking, oh, what do I want to make? What do I want to make? What do I want to make? Oh, this is so cool. I really want to make something. Right, I'm sorry, Sam Callett, but you've lost for today. You've lost for now. I want to make a sooty card. I've decided I'm going to make a sooty card. That's it. It is decided. So it shall be done. And the great thing is also with the sooty set, I've got this amazing papers as well. These amazing papers. If you give me one quick second, I'm just going to pull this paper pack out. This lovely sooty 8x8 paper pack. How amazing is that? Because I think it is absolutely brilliant. And in here, it's got some of like the really like that's the little puppets as they originally were. So cool, so cool. And to my little puppet, you know, it's a play on Poppet, and get well soon because it's a play on Sue. I shouldn't really have to explain all of this stuff. Oh my God! Look how cool is that? Sweep is a little superhero, and Sue is a princess. And Sooty is a king. Oh, that is so cool. You are very special. Have a super birthday. Happy birthday. Sooty and Sweep. Oh my God, this is just so cool. I love it so much. And you actually get a fair few sheets of those. And those are all just toppers that you can use. I think it's 4 sheets of each of the toppers you've got there and 4 each in the papers. So I'm just going to have a quick look through these papers with you guys. And then I'll actually make a card. So you've got these lovely flower papers, all 4 of the same there. Those are quite nice, I like those. Then you've got the magical ones from where it's to do with Sooty. So you get 4 in that as well. You get 4 in the sausages, which is Sweep. So cool. Honestly, Corinne, find it on YouTube, watch it. It's just such wholesome child comedy. It's brilliant. It is so brilliant. It really, really is. And then you get this nice little background paper as well of the stars and the swirls, which is really cool. And then you get the bigger version of that by the looks of it, which is really nice. And then you get the sooty paper, which has got all the lovely spades, diamonds, and oh, it's so cool. I'm such a child. I love it so much. It is absolutely amazing. Right, shall we press on with a card? Now, what kind of card shall we make? Well, we're going to make one of these ones anyway. We're going to make one with this mechanism that I got. So let's just... What should we have as a card space? What we're going to make? Need to think about what we're going to make before we make it. I'm liking... I really want to use the Izzy Wizzy Let's Get Busy. Or, actually, better idea. Not going to do that. Thought of a better idea. It's going to take a little bit longer, but you know what? Hello, Gaz. Delayed due to receiving a 2K package at my front door. Oh, a get well card for Aaron. I don't think Aaron needs a get well card, bless him. He's got enough of me hovering over him. I think what we're going to do... Oh, those are paper piecing. I wanted my mount board. Come here, pack a mount board. Stop being so naughty. Oh, we're gonna make a little diorama. How amazing this is going to be. Right. We're gonna make a diorama, guys. For this, I'm going to need 3 sheets of mount board, and I'm using what seems to be the 5 3/4 by 7 3/4, and I need those. Thank you so much, Stephanie, because I did see earlier on, I think it was Hannah in the chat asked to see mountboard being covered, and it just gave me this idea to make a little diorama, and I'm thinking I'm going to make that diorama. So what I'm going to do, I may not need 3 pieces, but I've got 3 pieces out just in case. Come on, back into the pack you go. This is the joys of being live, people. Right, there we go. So what I'm going to do then, why did I just move that from there? Such a silly. Right, so at 3, I want to say 3. At 3 inches, I'm going to cut that in half. I'm just going to get my lovely little... It may not be exactly in... Oh, I do want it to be exactly in half, actually. I'm not being too... Because half of 5 is 2.5. Was it 2 and 3? No, it'd be 3 1/4. So cut it at 3 1/4, and then hopefully, I do feel like it might be. Well, we'll see how this goes. Hopefully. Where was I off? Hello Marlene, thank you for stopping by. Hi Jacqueline, I've made a post on your page. If you could reply, please. I'll reply as soon as the live's over, my darling, and unless you have the question to ask now, and I'm happy to answer it as best as I can. That is not a problem. See, look, this is why I got 3 pieces out. So, let's see exactly where I went wrong with that. So if I put that there, put that there. Right, so that is... So... Oh, 1 second, guys. That's how I cut my finger during... Oh, wow. Oh, okay. That is duly noted. Absolutely duly noted. I really do need to try and figure out what half of that is. I'm sorry guys, I'm on a bit of a funny one today. So half of 5 3/4. I'm really not winning, am I? 2.5. So it should be 2 3/4. I do apologise about that, guys. Well, actually, I'm thinking it's 3. I'm going to cut 3. Although somehow I've managed to make 2 of those. So what I'm going to do is just straighten that off, because apparently it decided to move. Where am I going with this? 3. I want 2 3-inch strips, so what I'm going to do is just cut those 2 down to 3 and forget about the rest of the mess that I've made. So the easiest way to do it is just... Wow, that went really bad. Let's put that in that way. 3. Okay, maybe it didn't go as bad as I thought it had. Right, just level that off. There we go. So what I wanted from those 2 pieces was 2 3-inch strips. So for now we've got 2 3-inch strips, and we have the 1 whole piece, which is what we wanted. Fabulous. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some of this lovely paper that I've got. Now I want it. Oh, that's great. That's great. That is absolutely great. That is brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And let's see if that's going to work. It's not going to give me as much of a fold over as I'd have liked, but it's still going to look good. So let's just move that back to the side for now because we don't need that. I'm going to get a piece of copy paper. Well, a couple of pieces of copy paper in this case. And I'm going to cut that to the same size as we have the two struts. So it's going to be 3 inches by 7 3/4, which means I'm going to need my bigger. I'm going to need my bigger one. I nicked my thumb yesterday on the new CC paper trim. I didn't realise it. Oh no! Oh, Curran, I hope you're okay, lovely. I hope you are okay. Right, so let's just trim those up. 2, 3. I promise you this is going to look amazing when it's done. That's 3 by 7 3/4. And 3 by 7 3/4. What we're going to use this for, guys, is just as a little extra. As a little extra on the. I'm going to use it basically as a binding on the board to make it hold together, so it's going to be easier to cover with papers afterwards, is what I was meant to say. Apparently I'm not fully with it at the moment. I do apologise. It's the excitement, you see. I've been excited to do this for the last like 3 days. I've been thinking, oh, I can't wait to go live, I can't wait to go live, I can't wait to go live. I've not done anything in so long and I really want to, and the excitement's just gotten to me, I think. So that's 7 3/4 again. Oh gosh, I'm glad you're okay, and I'm sorry that your card is a bit more redder than you thought it was going to be. That is not fun at all. Right, so we have 4 of those so far. So we have one piece of mount board that is 5 3/4 by 8 3/4. Then we have the 2 side pieces, which are measuring at 3 inches by 7 3/4. That's the same for both of those. And then we have 4 strips of paper, copy paper at 3 inches by 7 3/4. I'm thinking those might be a little bit too big. Actually, no. They should actually hold on quite nicely. Yeah, they should hold on really nicely. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me construction glue. I won't be a quick second as I grab that. I should have had this out ready, you know. But I didn't, because I'm a silly banana. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run it over half of the copy paper. Well, actually, I might as well just run it over all of the copy paper, and then I'll use it to line up lead down. There we go. And what I really should have done before I did that was to score. But what I will do is not score on these outer pieces, but I will score on the inner pieces, because that will help it fold internally. So I'm just going to glue the other side down. Let's have a quick look at the chat. Okay, but my card is a bit more redder than what. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, lovely. Hi, Gaz stopping in between work cards. Hi, Laurie Townsend. It's nice to see you. Oh, between calls. Oh, fair enough. Oh, bless you. I hope you're not having too much of a busy day at work, my lovely. And I hope it's going a lot nicer for you. There we go. Just line those up. And then I'm going to do the same with that. And whilst that's just sorting itself out, whilst we wait for that to grab and hold, I'm just going to set it off to the side here for a second. I'm going to get my scoreboard out, and I'm just going to score these at 1 3/4 inches. Is it 1 3/4? No, it's 1.5. Oh, you silly banana. Just going to score them at 1.5 inches. Silly bananas. And it shouldn't really take too much of a hard score, but I just wanted to make sure that it was all nicely done. And there we go. That is those for now. So if I bring that back in, hopefully that has... There we go. And I'm sure you could see where I'm going with this, because it's going to stand up nicely like that. It's going to look so cool. It's going to be a nice little theatre, and it's going to look cool, or at least I think it is anyway. Right, I'm just going to burnish along those score lines. You don't really need to use a burnishing tool on copy paper. You can just fold it and do it with your fingers. As long as you make sure it all lines up properly, it's all good. And there we go, all nicely burnished. And then all I'm going to do is run glue down the one side. And line that up with the middle section. Line it up nicely. And then just pop some more glue on it there. And fold that out. And glue it down that side. Marvellous! And that just gives it really a nice little hinge, if you want to call it that. And it's going to make it a little bit easier for construction when we paper it later on as well. So there we go, I'm just going to line that up there, right, butt it right up to the edge of the mount board and stick it, and do just the same on this side as well. And you can see there that I've left just the tiniest little gap running down between the two pieces of mount board. I've done that so that when I do stand it and turn it, it's going to actually stand and hold together. It's not going to push away from the other piece of mount board underneath, so it's actually going to... There we go, we've got a little bit of an air bubble going on there. But you can see there that it actually meets and stands nicely to each other. I'm just going to burnish out those air bubbles in that. And what I will probably do is use a piece of the offcut, and I'll make a little front for it as well, so it looks like a little stage. Oh, so funny, so cool. Sorry, I get overexcited by these things. Such a child. Such a child. And the good thing as well is that I have these offcuts of copy paper that I could use as well, which I'll use to, once I've cut this down. So cool. I'm going to cut it down to just under 5 and, let's see, where was that? Just a little bit under 5 3/4. So this one is going to be 2 1/2, I believe. Or I might just chop it down to 2. No, that would just be silly, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm going to chop that. I'm going to chop this bottom piece down to 2 1/2 by just under 5 3/4. So 2 1/2. Just make sure I line that up properly. Just a little bit under 5 3/4. That's only one tiny little. I think it's just about I don't know if that counts as an 1/8, but it's one little notch just under the 5 3/4. I don't know how to say that because I'm not. I was having this discussion actually earlier on about how do you know about all of these things when you may not necessarily be a crafter or someone who's worked with inches or centimeters or anything like that specifically. You know, I could sit here and say all the things that I know, but it won't go into somebody's head who's like new. Or it was like burnishing as an example. My friend said to me that you fold and burnish, and the first time it was said to me I was like, fold and what? So I just thought, so I asked, I was like, what's burnishing? And she said to me, she was like, oh, of course you wouldn't know. It's just where you fold and you run this tool along the back of it. And I was like, right, okay, so, okay, now I understand that. But when you first hear it, it's just kind of strange, isn't it? And there's like all these terms that we use, and we just don't think about maybe someone who's new coming into it and not knowing these things. So I try to explain as much as I possibly can to make it as simple as possible. Or am I ranting? I'm probably ranting, aren't I? So I'm just going to chop this piece down to 2 1/2, and I'm going to cut it at 3 1/2. So just one piece of copy paper at 2 1/2 by 3 1/2, and you need to do that twice. So 2 1/2 by 3 1/2, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that to the band. That's going to go across the front. So that piece of mount board we just cut, and I'm just going to I'm going to score that in half as well so that it doesn't get mixed up. So scoring it at 1 and 1 notch. Is it going to be 1 notch? Yeah. 1 and 1 notch. So at 1 1/2, the notch on your scoreboard just before that, and score it across on both pieces along the short side. There we go. It wasn't meant to be the short side. It was meant to have been the long side. Okie dokie. Well, I'll just recut those. Actually, no, I won't recut them. I'll just pick up that mess I made, though. I'm just going to... the easiest thing I could do is just push the score out and restart it. It's not a problem. This is the joys of being live, people. So, instead of along the short side, along the long side, and 1 notch before 1 1/2, score it down So I'm just going to push out the last score line that I made. And 1 notch before 1.5 on the long side, not the short side, the long side. So, right, from your offcuts of copy paper from making the other struts for the card, you should have two pieces of copy paper that are cut to 2.5 by 3.5, and down the long side of that, just score it at 1 notch before the 1.5 on your scoreboard. And there we go. Now what I'm going to do is put some glue on these, and I'm going to line it up with that piece of mount board that we cut earlier on. And I'm just going to let that butt it right up to that score line. And I'm going to let it set as such. And this piece of mount board you have should be 5 and just 1 notch under 5 3/4 on your guillotine long, and that should be, yeah, it should be 7 3/4 long, and it should be 2.5 inches tall. There we go. I'll get there in the end. How's that, eh? Right, so we've got that so far. I'm just going to leave that to the side to dry because I haven't done anything else just yet. And before, what I'm going to do is just leave all of that just to kind of just have a moment to let the glue set and all that. So I'm going to get some of my little bits out and do some stamping and some colouring. How brilliant. Now, what am I going to put on? So, oh, here we go. Oh, I love these stamps. They are so cute. They are so, so cute. So, shall we make it a Christmassy scene? So we'll have Sooty wearing his Santa hat, and we'll have Sue waving, and oh, because we've got that guitar, haven't we? We can make Sweep hold that guitar. Now, if I remember correctly, it's going to be that Sweep. So he's going to be playing his guitar. And, oh, what should we have Sue doing? Should we have Sue doing something? We can have Sue holding a rubber duck, because that's going to be her Christmas present. Right. Now what I'm going to do is get myself out some Nina cardstock, and I'm going to stamp these lovelies out using my alcohol proof die. So 1 second whilst I just grab a piece of Nina cardstock. Every time I say Nina cardstock, I just want to go Nini na 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 do 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 do. Saturday night dance, I like the way you move. Right, that's enough of that nonsense. Pretty baby, it's party time. There's not 1 minute we could lose. Be my baby. Oh, oh. Jeez Louise, I like whatever I'm on. Right. Let's get this Nina cardstock in my stamping platform before I lose what's left of my sanity. Saturday night. Pretty baby, it's party time. There's not 1 minute we can lose. Right, there we go. There's Sooty, Sweep and Sue. So we said that Sweep's going to hold the guitar, so I'm going to get that out. We're going to stamp the guitar out. And Sue's going to hold her is going to have a rubber duck because that's what she's going to have gotten for her Christmas present. Poor Sue. She didn't get a lot this year. Right. Make sure those are all on there properly. You've slept too long. I probably have. And you've probably had enough of hearing me singing, haven't you? Right, let's just make sure there's enough ink on these. Now, this is the first time I've used these stamps, so it is possible that we will have a little bit of a mucky transfer, but I'll just do it a couple of times and it'll be fine. Yes, Nina card is best for stamping, Vicky. Sorry, I didn't see your question. And what I have here is a little homemade, what I like to call a chucky, which is what I was told it was called. And I just use that to run over and give it a nice little press. What I can do actually is teach you guys how to make these as well, because I made this myself. So I've just used some glitter and put my old gaming name on there and just made it myself. So, hey Pro, you drinking? No, I wish I was. Oh wow. Okay, I need to just put a bit more ink on there, but those have come out so well. That is so amazing, especially for the first stamp out of the box. Those are so cool. Let's just give those another run over. There we go. Nina Classic Crest card. All the Solar White. The Solar White is just as good as well. But I believe I'm using the Classic Crest. There we go. Oh, she needs just a little bit going over by her eye. Normally I put my mat underneath my stamping platform as well. It helps with a little bit of pressure because it gives it a bit of push back from the bottom. There we go. Oh, look how cute they look. Oh, they're so adorable. I love them. Oh! Oh, I'll just have a quick swig of me drink. There we go. So, right, take those off of there for now. And pop all of me. What have we done with this? And there we go, put that back on there. And what I'm going to do is just pop those up there for a second and clean my stamps off. Because we never leave our stamps dirty, do we guys? Nobody likes a dirty stamp. Oh. Oh no. I just lost the stamp. Never mind, I'll find it. Oh, speaking of finding it, there it is. Right, little duck stamps apparently, a bit too much for me to comprehend. Right. Look how cool they are. Right. I want to make sure these all go back in the right places because I don't want to lose any of my stamps. No, sir. There we go. Put those back there. And then we can pop our mat back there. That's not a mat, Gareth, it's a stamping platform. Thank you for informing me. I'm glad to have known. Did I? Oh yeah, I did stamp Sooty with the little Christmas hat. That's good. Good, 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 good. Because that's the one we wanted. Right. And I know I'm going to need to bring them back out again in a little bit as well. But just for now, I'm going to pop these back in their packaging. Because I don't like mess, to be honest. I'm a very tidy crafter. Or at least I pretend to be a very tidy crafter. For as long as I can get away with it. Terrible. Right, the only thing we don't have the matching die cuts for, I think, are the duck and the... Yeah, the duck and the guitar, which is not a problem because I could fussy cut them. Oh, I don't like the word fussy cut. I don't like fussy cutting. Tee-hee. Right, the great thing about Sue is I don't really need to colour her in because she's the colour she's meant to be. But I can colour in her little dress. So, should we give her a red dress because I'm aiming for a Christmassy. I'm aiming for a Christmassy theme. So I'm just using my tri-blends on this because they are my favourite of all my alcohol markers. And the great thing as well is that I don't need to go hunting around for other colours that will match, because all the colours are designed to match on the pen straight away. I almost broke the cardinal rule there of not having a piece of scrap paper underneath my project to work on. Now, I know you guys have probably seen videos with Leanne from Crafter's Companion. She tells you to do that because when you do your ink blending, it gives the ink somewhere to go instead of just pushing itself back into the card that you're working on. And I can tell you, ever since I've been doing it, my colouring has gotten so much better. So much better. So I'm just going to give everything a base colour of the lightest colour. And hopefully I don't fall down the rabbit hole of not talking when I should be. And I get lost in colouring because I don't want to do that. So I'm just giving it, like I say, the initial little first layer of the one colour. And we're going to take that pretty much most of the way down. Yeah, because it does go pretty, the die cut does go a fair way down. But we probably won't see all of her anyway because I'm going to put some layers in. And, well, you'll see what happens anyway. It's going to be great. Right. Now, all I'm going to do is find those darker areas on her. And I'm just going to go in with my... So I'm just going to go in with my next colour to make her have some highlighting where it should be. Just down there. Just around her. Now you could use all three colours on this. I'm only going to use the base colour and the medium colour because I don't want to go too far with it, or otherwise I'll be sat here colouring all night. And you guys aren't here to see me colouring all night. So, oh, and a little bit just there. And then once she's die cut, I'll go back over the area, some of the other areas as well with the slightly darker colour. And I keep seeing bits where I really ought to put in a bit of shading. So there we go. So that's a little bit of shading. Oh, actually, I might just pull that down there so it gives her arm. And just across there as well. And now all I'm going to do is in nice little with a nice little circular motion, blend it out into the main colour. And give it another layer of that initial colouring. And you don't want to go all the way over the whole layer of the darker colour, you just want to hit just around the outside of it. So it pulls the ink out. If you go over the whole thing, you may as well just not have bothered putting it on there at all, really. But you just want to go into it a little bit to make it pull out. And it gives it a nice blend then. You could tell the difference from the top and the bottom. So a nice little in nice circular motions. Just going into the edge of it just a little bit. And pulling the colour out. And I'm just going to give that another layer. And there we go. That's Sue's nice little red dress with some highlighting. How's that, guys? Hopefully you like it. I'm going to go with the green-yellow blend on her belt. Actually, no. I'm going to go with the gold blend, I think. I do have a gold blend. Gold-yellow blend. That's what I wanted. Gold-yellow blend. And I'm just going to give her belt a full covering in the lightest yellow. I'm not going to actually do any further blending on her belt other than that. Because I think that will be enough. And I might colour in her bows on the top of her head with the red as well, just so that it matches her dress. And I'm not going to do any blending on those either because they're really, really small. Actually, I could do some blending on it. So if I'm going to just put down the base layer there, in the centre where her bows are, I'm just going to put a little line, a little dot of the medium colour, and then I'm going to blend that out to the lighter colour on both sides. It's very carefully. Do it very carefully and it should have a nice effect. And there you go. That is Sue coloured in. However, we are going to need the yellow gold blend again because Sooty is actually a yellow bear. So I'm going to give him a layer with the white first. Sorry, the white with the light. The lightest colour on the pen, Gareth, not white. It might look a bit... He might look a bit pale. But don't worry, we're going to go into a 3-layer blend with Sooty. So we're going to use all 3 colours on the pen. But his initial layering will just be that light, the lightest colour from the pen. And that's his whole face and body too. Oh dearie me, my hand's starting to hurt a little bit. There we go. And now what we're going to do is with some highlighting, we're going to go in with the darkest tone next. And we're just going to give him some nice little highlightings. I'd probably say it's dark lightings. We're just going to go in there and a little bit down there. Give his face and a little bit round his nose and a smidgy bit over his eyes, and just follow around where his hat sits. Down to about there with the darkest. And next what we're going to do is pull that out with the next lightest colour. Just keep blending that out because I don't want him to be too dark of a bear. He is meant to be a yellow bear. I'm just making sure I'm going into a little bit into that darker lines just to pull it out and give it that blending. And it doesn't matter if you go over a little bit, because you can always get your colourless blender out and push the colour out, which I think I'm going to have to do for a few little bits of it, but we'll worry about that when it comes to die cutting. And we're going to colour in his little paw knuckles. Gaz is now in colouring coma. Yeah, I feel like it. Just a little bit. Right, so I'm going to get the pale pink blend, and on that I'm just going to use the middle colour to colour in his little hand beans, because he's got some little hand beans. And we're just going to leave them the one colour. I don't want to go into a colouring coma, so if I do, please do poke me. I'm going to use that dark red blend again on Sooty's hat. So we're just going to go in with the lightest colour and colour in his Christmas hat. Then we only have to colour in Sweep and the guitar and the little rubber ducky. But I think we should be alright with that. So there we go. And with the darkest, I'm just going to do a little bit over there and a little bit there from where the hat folds over. A nice little line up there. And there where it buckles down, and a little bit coming up to there. A smidgy little bit just going across there. I'm going to go in with the mid colour. And just go around those darkened areas. And then come back with the lightest colour again. And pull those colours all together. And hopefully that should be a lovely, nicely blended Christmas hat. How cool is that? It's a hat. It's a hat, it's a cool hat. Right. Now we're going to colour in Sweep. He's a grey doggy. So, and he's going to have a pink nose because he has a pink nose. He's going to have pink hand beans as well because he's got pink hand beans. So, just like I did with the others, I'm just going to go over with the lightest colour first, and then we're going to do some highlightings. Although he would look fine just coloured as he is, but I want him to look nicely highlighted like the other two do. So we're going to go over with the initial layer of the lightest colour. The lightest colour. It would be handy if I had my scan and cut, because what I could have done is just ran this through my scan and cut, although it wouldn't have liked the bottom of the stamps not having a black line for it to follow to cut. So I'm just going to move that about, get that line going across the bottom there. And there we go. And that's him lightly coloured in. I love to watch colouring so peaceful and hypnotic. It really is. I should have my glasses on, but I don't have my newest pair with me. They're in the other room at the moment, so what I'll do is I'll just give this old pair that I've got a quick quick once over and we'll put those on. Wow, I've not worn these in a while. Whoa. 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 I think my eyes have got worse since I wore these last. Right, so with the darkest colour, I'm just going to do a little bit of highlighting. Now I'm being very, very gentle with this pen, this colour, because it is very, very dark. There is a lot of it's not very forgiving, as it were. So I'm just going to do a little bit, a very, very thin line of it going around, just a little bit over his eyebrows. I'm going to do a little bit going around his nose, just a little tidgy bit just underneath the mouth there, and then I'm going to go over those with the slightly lighter. Let's hope I don't go into that colouring coma, eh guys? Right, just a nice little bit there. And I'm just doing a very thin line on both of these because I don't want it to be too thick, because the colours are quite dark. I'm just going to get that to go around there. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is blend it all out with the lightest colour. Now I wouldn't normally go over the whole lot with the lightest colour. I'm only doing that because I feel as though I have put too stark a line for the shadowing. So it should hopefully help it blend out a bit better and not look as harsh, because I don't want any harsh lines on him. I want to try and make him look as nice as possible. And I'm just going to give everywhere another layer of that nice light grey as well. And it shouldn't be long until we're done with the colouring. I do feel as though he was a bit starkly coloured there. But you can see he's actually got a nice shadow on him, which is quite nice. I'll pop that nice grey blend back and have a quick swig of me beverage. Right, and then we're going to do his little hand beans in pink. I think I'm going to step that up to the middle one. There we go. I just wanted him to have different coloured hand beans and try and blend that out a little bit, actually, because it's quite a stark, but I wanted it somewhere in the middle, not as light but not as dark. There we go. I feel as though that is a nice little blend for him. Now, the guitar. I'm thinking I will go with red because it looks very much like a Stratocaster. No, it's a Les Paul. It looks like a Les Paul. So I'm going to colour it as if it was a Les Paul. I was going to say it looks like a Stratocaster, but it looks nothing like a Stratocaster. That would be a very silly thing for me to call it. There we go. And I'm going to do some shadowing on this as well. Let's just make sure I get all the way down there done nicely without... This is a little bit of a coma moment, so I am sorry, guys. There we go. And you know what? Just to make it look really cool, I'm going to colour in that bit as well. Ta-da! Right. And on here, I'm just going to give it a nice shadowing. There we go. I'm going with a slightly lighter red. Just blend that slightly darker. So I'm just going into the line a little bit and bringing that out. And then I'm going to go over the whole thing. Not the whole thing, but where the middle and the light meet. And just to blend it all out. I think that looks really cool. Except for the bits where I went over the lines, which is the part where I need my colourless blender. Now, I know you've probably heard Leanne say it as well. Colourless blenders are not for blending. They are for pushing out any mistakes that you have made. So if you've gone over your lines, it's basically an alcohol pen eraser. There's a few little bits just on Sue where I've gone wrong. Now you can either just dab or you can colour as you would normally. I try to like to dab because it makes it work a lot quicker. Is there anywhere else I've mucked up? Oh, there's a little bit just there. And a smidgy little bit just there. And all that's doing is pushing the ink out of the paper, well, out of the cardstock, and that'll push that into the paper just below. So you can see there where it's done that. I will keep that to hand. And where is our yellow? I need a proper yellow, not an orange yellow or gold yellow. I would like a proper yellow, please. Oh, I don't think I've got one, have I? Well, this rubber duck's going to be orange. How's that? It's going to be burnt orange, apparently. Actually, no. I'm going to use the gold yellow blend like I did before. Like I did on City. And then we should use the orange blend on his beak. I'm thinking it might be too heavy to use that. Just like that. I'm thinking because the lighter colour pulls out the darker colour a little bit. So I was just thinking if I lay down that slightly darker colour before I put down the darkest colour, it might make a little bit of a difference. And then if I go in with the lightest colour again and pull it all out. He says it might just blend a little bit lighter, which is kind of what I was hoping for. There we go. And then we're going to use that orange blend on his beak. I hope you guys are all enjoying the live so far. This was a little bit of a let's see how it goes live, I thought. So hopefully you guys are all enjoying it. And just along there with the darkest orange. Then the slightly lighter orange, and we'll just pull that and blend that out. There we go. I like that. I think that's really cool. There we go. So that is all our colouring done. I bet you're all glad that's over. Right, next thing is next. What I should have done really is die cut before I coloured, but hey ho. What's next is next indeed. So I'm just going to get out my cutting plates. And before we run that through with the cutting plates, I'm going to just trim that down because it doesn't need to be the whole A4 piece, does it? So just remove that from the last time I did something. And I didn't take it out. No exact measurement on this, I just need to make sure there's enough room for the die cut to go around. And that's that. There we go. Die cutting. Turn that on. It does help if you want to die cut if you have your die cutting machine turned on, especially if it's an electronic one. I just thought I'd let you guys know, just in case you didn't know. Right. And all I'm going to do is pop that on there. Literally just line up the die with the stamp, and using a bit of low tack tape, make sure it doesn't do anything silly. There we go. And there we are, Sooty himself next. I'm just trying to make sure I line it up as perfectly as I possibly can. I'm doing the quiet thing again, aren't I? I shouldn't be doing the quiet thing. I should be talking. Love you, little bro. Got to get... Okay, sweetie. Well, you have a great day. And I hope that everything's okay with her and that it's all sorted really, really quickly and she really enjoys where she's going. Because I think that's going to be brilliant for her, bless her. There we go. Just finished lining that one up. There we go, stick that one down. And as you can see there is a little spot on Sue where I didn't colour all the way down, but that's not a problem because I can recolour it. It's not an issue. Right, there we go, pop that on there. Now, I know you can use your magnetic sheet with this as well. I'm not going to because it usually cuts quite well for me without it. I normally just need the shim and it's all good. So just running that through the Gemini 2. around with a bit of luck and a fair breeze. There we go. They all cut really well, actually. I'm very, very surprised. They cut bloody brilliantly. Fantastic. I'm not surprised at the quality of the dye, of course. I'm just surprised at the quality of my lining up. Because we know what I'm like. Well, plenty of people know what I'm like anyway. Right, let's get these cut out as well, because unfortunately I don't have dies for them, and also very unfortunately I don't have my Brother Scan and Cut set up at the moment, so it is going to be a case of, unfortunately for me, fussy cutting. So it is going to be a little bit of a now all I'm doing is making small cuts and going right round, or at least as best as I can, right round. The outside of the stamp. Now before I get to that, I'm just going to chop that down so I get rid of that bit of excess. And as you can see, actually I haven't done too badly. It's actually cut really nicely. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of the massive excess bits first, because that is causing me a bit of a blooming nightmare. Let's get right in close and chop all that off. Now I'm not the best fussy cutter in the world. In fact, you can speak to many people and they will attest to my is it despite? No, it's of how much I despise fussy cutting, to be honest. It is nowhere near my favourite thing to do, and I have a feeling I may need the snips. So let's just swap those for the moment. There we go, let's use the snips, then I won't make a big of a muck of fuddle of it. There we go. And what I'm trying to do as well, the most of it, is just move the card between the blades and let the blades do the work. Because if they do the work, then I don't have to. But this is a bit of a fiddly one to cut out, methinks. And so I'm making cuts little and often and moving the card as much as I can. So I don't have to do a lot of the cutting myself. I'm just letting the blades run through the card at the angles which it needs to. I'm just going to get rid of that big piece, because that's sometimes I just get to a point of fussy cutting and it scares me, so I'm just going I'm better off when that happens just to get rid of the big chunk in question. It doesn't happen when I'm doing little bits, of course, but it happens when I'm doing big chunks of things. And there we go, that's near enough a precise fussy cut of that guitar. I just need to get rid of the last little outer bits that And you know what? I think I did I'm actually really proud of that bit of fussy cut in there. I am very proud of it. There we go. I think I'm going to leave it at that, because if I try chopping into it anymore, it's just going to make a mess of it. But there we go. That's one guitar fussy cut. And let's do this rubber ducky. So if we make it the smallest possible shape that I can make it before fussy cutting. Get rid of all that outer edge. And then just bring my scissors in and let them do the work. This is a much simpler shape to cut than that guitar. So I'm probably being a little bit overconfident. And we'll see where overconfidence gets me. There we go, get rid of that. Well, all that needs is a little neaten up. Not so shabby, Mr. Gareth. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll get to the main body of the little theatre as soon as I'm done with this. Oh, I chopped right into the line. Silly me. It's alright though. Let's get rid of that big bit. There we go. I know fussy cutting isn't the most exciting thing in the world, but for me this is actually really, really exciting, because I normally make an absolute mess of fussy cutting, and I feel as though I've actually done a really, really good job on this. A really good job. So, proud moment for me. And just go around his bill. There we go. Awesome. This is the only thing about fussy cutting is you could sit here doing it all night. And I need to not be sat here doing it all night. Let's just neaten that bit off because it looks a bit mucky. There we go. Huzzah! Better to be over rather than under. Because I'm left-handed, I find that going over and under, depending on where I am, helps me. So it's a bit of a hit and miss with me. So I try both ways, and then whatever sticks really. Well, whatever works is what I should say. Works. Right, I'm going to put that to the side because we're not using that today. And now what we need to do is to be putting some papers on this lovely back. Right. So, seeing as we're doing a Christmassy everyone's showing off their Christmassy presents, I'm going to decorate it appropriately. Except for Sooty, he's not going to have a Christmas present. Actually, I could give him a wand. I'll give him a wand. And he'll be wearing his Santa hat, holding his wand. Right. So, when this is done, that's how it's going to look when it's all put together. And what I'm going to do is put a few bands in the middle using some acetate, so you can't see them, and I'm going to graduate the lineup as well, so there's going to be another band in the middle there and a band at the top, in theory. Yeah, should work. I can make it work. Right, so Christmassy paper. Shall we use... Shall I make it a red sparkly background? I think that's a good idea. We're going to have a sparkly red background. And then we use some of the papers to decorate the inner bits. There we go. So this is what I should have got out earlier on, but I'm a silly banana. Actually, it might be better off getting it out of the top drawer. Not red mirry. I think red mirry would be a bit too much, wouldn't it? So, what I would like is some red sparkle card, which I believe I have some here. And that can be the insides. Let's quickly pop that back away. And the few bits that I took out of there can go away. And I'm going to need my... Now I want the insides to be completely covered. What I might do actually is just put a little layer of tape around the top on the... No, that'd be silly. I'm not going to do that. Right, let's move that out of the way. Let's put those papers out of the way. And we don't want anybody to get lost. So we'll put those safely up there. And what we're going to do now is measure and cut the panels for the inside of the theatre, which is going to be this lovely sparkly red card, because I love sparkly red. Well, I just love sparkly in general, never mind red. Right, so what we're going to need is a panel that is, if he gets the ruler up the right way, for the back, a panel that is, hang on, silly boy. For the back panel, we're going to need a panel that is 5 3/4 wide by 6 3/4 long. So five and 3/4. If I do it that way, 5 3/4. It's going to be less card wastage that way, isn't it? By 6 3/4. And what I'm going to use on that is just some double-sided tape to stick it to the back. I will actually I'll use my tape roller, my tape runner. I don't have any of the new ones from Crafters Companion at the moment, but I do have a stick it one that's refillable that I'd like to use. And it works really well actually. I've not had any problems with it clogging up or anything, and even if it did clog up I could just open it and fix whatever the problem is. But as you can see from how easily this is gliding, and I'm not having any problems at all with it at all. There we go. And I don't need that to go all the way down to the bottom anyway, because it is going to be hidden. But there we go. That one's going to be too small, That's going to be too small, so not a problem. We'll put those to the side. Wow, look how cool that looks, just as a little background piece as well. I think that looks really cool. So sparkly, so super sparkly. It's very pretty. Right, and then we go. What have I done with that other sheet? There it is. Silly me. Then we're going to need 2 pieces that are going to be 3 inches wide by 7 3/4. So I might just cut that down to 6 3/4 like I did with the other one, so it doesn't go all the way down. So let's do 2 3-inch strips. Two 3-inch strips. By 6 3/4. So 6 3/4. By 6 3/4. That's a half. That's a quarter. Huzzah! And then we're just going to do the same. That's what we did with the back panel. We're going to use the tape runner. This tape runner is actually really good. I can't recommend it enough. I'm just going to put it up with that. And I will run a bit of tape around the outside just to make it look nice, so it covers up all of covers up any mistakes. But we don't make mistakes, do we, guys? So no such thing as mistakes. Crafters, don't make mistakes, darlings. There we go. Oh, I cut that one a little bit too long, it would sing. That is not a problem because we have scissors, and scissors that fix everything. Needs to get in a little bit closer. And there we go. And there we have our lovely little glittery stand. Let me get rid of this a bit of rubbish because it's in my way and being khaki and I don't like it. Goodbye, rubbish. That up. Right, and now I think it's time to affix our front panel. And you can see how pretty that looks. And what we can do as well, if I've done it correctly, well, that is a little bit too small, but we do have that, which is the perfect width, which we can cut down. Don't you just love it when an evil plan comes together, guys? Because I know I do. Right, let's get some glue on that. And some glue on that. And put that around there. And just get those two butt together nicely. And that's why I made the front panel a little bit smaller than... cut a little bit smaller, because that will then sit nicely and evenly between the whole thing. And it should sit and hold really, really well, he says. should sit and hold very, very well. And then all I'm going to do is cut that nice piece down. So for the front panel, you're going to want a piece of sparkly card that is 6 3/4 by 2 1/2. And this is already cut to 6 3/4, which I'm very lucky for. And all I need to do is trim a 2 1/2 panel off of that. And I was going to use that, but I don't want to use that because it looks hideous when you just going to line that up with the front and stick it on. And there we go. And that makes that for now. Then all we need to do is make some of the stands that are going to go, 2 of the stands that are going to go into the middle of it. So I believe I have some white cardstock that I had, that this is just spare. And what I need to do is make a tall and then a slightly less tall inner to go inside. Really, I probably should have done that before I stuck the side panels on, but you know, never mind. We all live and learn. Which means I need them to be 6 3/4 wide. So I'm going to leave that at the height as it is, and that's 6 3/4, so 7 3/4. So I'm going to need that to be at 7 3/4. I'm putting an extra inch so I can score at 1/2 inch on both sides. So 7 3/4. And it doesn't matter that that's a bit manky because I'm covering it with some glittery card anyway, so it's not going to be a problem. So that is the right height, and I've had a 7 3/4 inches. So I'm just going to get my scoreboard out and score each side at 1/2 inch. And just to save me from messing about, I'm just going to score it, turn it, and score it again at 1/2 inch. I'm going to put that bit on the bottom anyway where it's a little bit manky. But it just goes to show that you can use absolutely anything from your scrap pile to get yourself, you know, get yourself where you need to be and doing whatever it is you need to be doing. So there we go. And I'm just going to do that. Oh, where's my burnisher? Ah, there it is. There's my burnishing tool. How is that too big to go in there? I only added an inch. That's really strange. That is really strange. Right, okay. Well, I'll score it at an inch each side instead anyway. It's not a problem. This is what I get for doing things on the fly, guys. This is a new thing to me, so I should have really made a bit more of a plan before I started today, but that's my fault and I'm sorry about that. There we go. I should have scored it at an inch on each side. Silly me. And what I'm going to do is actually bring that down by an inch, because that's a little bit too high. So let's bring that down to 5 inches tall. Actually, we'll go 5 1/2. Right. Right, so for the back stand that goes inside, you're going to need a piece of card that's 7 3/4 wide. Yeah, 7 3/4 wide and 5.5 tall. Score it at 1 inch on both sides. Fold and burnish. And then that will sit in there nicely. And I'm just going to get another piece of card. I should have a nice scrap down here that I don't need to worry too much about. Oh no, that's the wrong colour. Never mind, I'll do that in a minute. I'll just get this sorted first. So what I'm going to do is run down each part of the flaps that are going to hold onto the side with some tape runner. I'm going to fold that back, place it in, lead down so you can see what I'm up to, and I'm just going to make that sit there like that. I'll run the burnisher down it just to make sure it's all nicely secured to the side, each of the sides. That's a bit silly, isn't it, Gareth? There we go. You need to just put that back a smidgy little bit. Like that. There we go. That's much better. And there we are. I'm just going to get another piece of red sparkle card so that we have a nice front for it. That's not the red. That's the red. Pulled out the wrong pack. Silly me, eh? Right, and what I might do actually is use that. No, I'll just use the sparkles. Use the sparkle cards, he says. Use the sparkles because it looks pretty. Right, and then for that inside panel, we're just going to need a piece of sparkle card that is, let's see, 5.5 inches long by 5.5 inches long by 5 3/4. 5 3/4 by 5.5. Yep. So we'll get that. So 5 3/4 by 5.5. So that should fit. Did I not cut that properly? 5.5, Gareth. 5 3/4 by 5.5. Ah, see, I was silly. I didn't cut it down properly. Meant to be. There we go. Fabulous. Just make sure that looks. There we go. And let's just tape runner, tape runner, tape runner, tape runner, and stick it down. Just want that, because I've left a little edge on it, just so that it looks a little bit, breaks up the colour a little bit, he says. I've left a little bit of a white outline. I did mis-centre that, but it won't come off, so I can't re-centre it. Or will it come off? Oh, it will come off. Let's re-centre that, because we don't want that looking so silly. There we go. And there we go. Now all we need is one more insert, which actually looks like that might be a good piece to go with. However, that might be not enough for me to... Let's get out another piece of white. Another piece of white card. Right, so going off of these measurements, we're going to want a 6 3/4 width by 3.5 inch tool. So let's do that. 6 3/4 by 3 inches tool. All I need to do is just get that down to 3 inches. Actually, no, I'll make it 3.5. So 6 3/4 by 3.5 inches. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. And then score at 1/2 inch on each side. Score at 1/2 inch. Score at 1/2 inch. And score at 1 inch. My apologies. Score at 1 inch on each side. Fold and burnish that at the inch marker. How? Because that's too... Oh. That'll be fine. My cutting was off. So 6 3/4. It should be scored at 1/4 inch on each side. Half an inch on each side. I do apologise about this, guys. Normally I'm a little bit better than this, so you do deserve an apology. So 6 3/4, scoring at 1/2 inch on each side. I am so sorry, guys. I am really, really sorry. So fold and burnish. Half an inch on each side. Then that will fit in there nicely. Which then means I need another piece of... That's going to be too small. Another piece of sparkle card, which measures at 5.5 by 3.5. So 5.5 by 3.5. And before I put that in, I'm just going to stick that to the front of the panel, because I think this one will be a little bit more of a bugger to try and slip in, because it's going to be at the very front at the bottom. So just going to line that up. And somehow I've still cut it too long. But you know what? That's not a problem. I'll just fold that bit back, line it up in the guillotine and just chop off the excess. And there we go. Let's run a bit of tape liner across there. Because no matter what you do, guys, it's always fixable. As crafters, we only ever make happy accidents. So there we go. There's the last little bit going in now. And I'm just positioning that in between that last one that I put in and the front one. And there we go, you'll have a little something that looks like that. There we go. And then all we're going to do is bring in our guys. Oh, I forgot to colour in Sweep's nose, didn't I? How silly of me. Let's give him a... Oh, that's a bit too light, isn't it? We'll go with the darker colour. There we go. That's his nose all nicely coloured in. And there we are. And then all we need is some little strips of 1/2 inch card, and all I'm going to do is just stick those onto the back and make them probably about 2 inches long, so 1/2 inch by probably 1/2 inch by 2.5 inches. We'll go with that, and then we only need 3 of those. So 1/2 inch by 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches. And 2.5 inches. Don't drop it. That's silly of me. And then all I'm going to do is just stick those onto the back with a bit of tape. And let's give Sue a little rubber ducky to hold. Just using a little bit of tape on there so that it sits on her hand. There we go. Sweep his guitar. Put a little bit of tape on the back there so it stick across his ear. And we pop Sweep at the top, playing his guitar. Sue in the middle, holding onto a ducky. Let's just move her. Move Sue along a little bit because she was a little bit too close there. I'll just re-stick that because it's come loose. And then there we go. All we need to do is just put some paper around the outside and do a sentiment. So, I don't think I'm going to get exactly what I would like out of that. Let's just try and get that to straighten up a little bit. It's being a little bit of a booger. It's not holding how I'd like it to, but that's okay. We can make it work. I really like that just as it is. Let's do a sentiment stamp, shall we? So I've got a little piece of me Nina cardstock. Just pop that paper back there. And get the sentiment stamps out. Because I was a good boy and I tidied things up, didn't I? So my sentiment stamps should be here somewhere. What have I done with them? Aha, there they are. Oh. And I'm just going to go with the classic, the absolute classic Izzy with the, actually maybe not. It doesn't really match what's going on there. I'm just going to pop on there, you are the very best. Because I feel as though that's a sentiment I can get on board with right now. Right. So what I'm going to do is get the alcohol proof ink back out and ink it up. And there we go. I'm just going to cut around that. Just like that for in the first instance, he said. And I feel like I can use this for this. I'm just going to do a bit of light fussy cutting. just around the sentiment. And just take that harsh edge off. There we go. Just round that off. And do the same just with that bit. Just neaten up those little scraggly bits. Put that on the front. And there we go. One lovely Sooty & Co. Completely 3D theatre. Now all I need to do is just pop some paper around the outside. So I'm going to get one of my 12 by 12s, I think. I think I've got some nice 12 by 12 Christmas paper floating around here somewhere. You know what, I'm going to use a bit of my 12 Days of Christmas. And I'm going to use the bee track on that, because I like how that goes with the sparkle. So I'm using that bee track of the 12 by 12. And this is a little bit unorthodox, but what I'm going to do is just stick that. Actually, that was the side I wanted to be on the outside. It is a bit unorthodox, but I'm going to just bring that in with that. And I'm going to use my construction glue, and I'm just going to rough stick it. It's very unorthodox, but I'm just going to see if it works. That's what we do in crafting. We try new things, make a mess, and see what sticks. Isn't that right? So what we do is wait for that to actually adhere to the 12 by 12 paper, he says. So hopefully that should adhere. I'm just going to fold it. I'm just going to put some glue on this side of my theatre. And fold it. No problem, Vicky. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you had a good time. And then all I'm going to do is the exact same thing on the opposite side. And then just go around the top. With the scissors. And snip off the excess. And there we go. What I'm going to do is just go around and neaten that up. And there you have it. A Sooty, Sweep and Sue Theatre. And I think that looks really nice. With the paper on the back as well. And there we go, guys. That is that. It is done. Right, if you'd like to see me do some more stuff with the Sooty and stuff, the Sooty magic roundabout, etc. stuff, I'm more than happy to do some more lives including it. Oh, thank you so much, Christine. I really appreciate that. I'm more than happy to take any advice on that you guys have about making any other bits and bobs with all of the stuff that I've got. But for this evening, I am going to call it time. I think we've all had a great time making this. Please do let me know if you make it or craft along, or you end up getting the same bits that I've got. I love to see all of them, all of people's makes and etc. So it would be really great if you all let me know how you get on with it, or how you feel about it. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. I'm going to call it a night there, and you thank you so much for coming, and I'll see you all tomorrow at the next live. Thank you very much, guys. Bye bye.